Hi, I'm James Burnham. I'm wondering if you're like me and want to know how you can improve yourself mentally to become stronger in that capacity. It's a good question to ask, right? If you can be stronger mentally, you can perform better in all aspects of your life. And this is a tricky thing to do, right? How do we increase our mental toughness? Well, I have 5 steps. So I'll give you the five and then stick around at the end and I'll tell you a story of how I applied these steps to myself in my own life. The first thing to do is to stop comparing yourself mentally to others. I know it's easy to do to look around and see, like, man, this person's facing this challenge. And look at them just moving through it with no problem at all. I would collapse under that stress. Don't compare. You are yourself. Look only within yourself and find, once you've done that, number two, within yourself, the space where you are strong. When you know, hey, mentally, I'm really strong in this area, then you can take that template of your strength and place it onto places where you're not as strong. That allows you to meet your challenges with, wow, like a real nice ability to overcome the difficulties that you face. Once you've identified where you show up strong, then the third thing that you want to do is rehearse scenarios where you fail. You take a look at those places where when you didn't show up the way you wanted to, and you look at that thing and you break it down. You begin to identify the thing that triggered you into the mental break where you weren't able to meet the challenge with the mental toughness that you hoped to, with the grace that you felt like you have the capacity to deliver in a better situation. This is important to do because if you can create a space where you identify, hey, I fall apart in these areas, now you have a pathway to go from, you know, where you're brave, you know how you show up really well here, and I can take this and put it on that weak space and navigate through that path. The fourth thing that you want to do is to allow your emotions to freely flow. Do not deny the frustration. Do not deny the anger. Do not deny the fact that you feel defeated or less than or whatever it is that's hitting you. When you deny that, you keep yourself from being able to move through those difficult emotions and become curious and capable and open to change. The fifth thing that you want to do is you want to then rehearse ways for you to overcome the places that you've identified where you're weak. Don't take on too much. You can't take on a huge transformation. You've got to start in small incremental steps. And when you do that, you can build your emotional strength, your mental toughness in a way that is very similar to how you build any skill that you have. If you're learning piano, when you start and you're doing the scales, your fingers are struggling, right? You can't do everything. Or if you're learning a sport, it's an awkward new movement. You got to learn how to do that. All these things take time. So give yourself the grace to do reps in that space. And when you fail, analyze it, find one little thing, prepare yourself, rehearsing those scenarios to come at it again. And you will find that with your bravery imprinted over all of this, you are capable and able to do this. But you must remember not to compare yourself to those around you, because when you begin an active comparison, you may never get to the capacity of someone next to you because they have a different set of skills. But you can get to the greatest capacity that you're capable of as long as you contain that within what you are doing. So let me kind of tell you, when I was going through my divorce recently, I keep making snowballs out here. It's really good packing snow. I was struggling with my mental toughness. I was facing a lot of things that were changing. I was in the middle of COVID. I was isolated and alone. I was just wondering, when all this stuff would come to an end. I thought that the divorce would be quick and amicable and easy. It wasn't. I expected all kinds of things that didn't happen. And then there was a lot of stuff that came up about me because I had made some serious mistakes. And in that space, having those mistakes exposed so openly to everyone that I loved, it really impacted my sense of self and my ability to face the world and feel like I had value. And my mental toughness was struggling. And I remember specifically several times where I just felt overwhelmed and crushed and unable to meet the challenges of the day. And I put in place a few things to help me because I knew where I showed up brave, where I showed up mentally tough, and that's in my physical space. And in my physical space, if I'm challenged, if I can't overcome something on my own, I'll call a coach. I'll call somebody that I know that is really good at it. I'll ask them for advice. They'll give me some techniques, things that I haven't done before. I'll apply those, and then sure enough, I'm able to overcome the challenge of what it is I'm facing. But in this space, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell people that I was struggling. I didn't want to tell people that I was lonely without my family. I didn't want to tell people that, you know, I felt like an idiot, that I had made so many mistakes, and that my children now were aware of all of my worst behaviors. It was a horrible thing to have to process and feel, and sometimes it made me completely collapse under the stress and pressure of it. And so, what I did is I found that because my physical space was good for me, I would come to nature. I'd come out here, and the quiet of it, the solitude of it, looking around and seeing the mountains and the trees and everything about me just so resolutely, boldly, unafraid of what was coming and accepting was a powerful thing for me. I began to think of myself like the mountain. I am the mountain, and the seasons come and the seasons change, and the things around me may all change, right? But the mountain is the mountain. Whether the snow is here, whether the trees catch on fire and burn, whether the animals leave, whether the humans come and go, the mountain stands and remains and is beautiful. And as I began to realize that and get into nature and find my space, I was able to take that template and put it onto my place where I felt like I was diminished. Like my children didn't want to see me because they were embarrassed by my behaviors that I had made and my mistakes that I had made. Or the fact that I was alone in COVID and not able to find and meet anybody, and made me wonder about my value and compounded that. I began to realize these are all internal thoughts that were mentally wreaking havoc on my mind because I was not being the mountain and allowing the seasons to pass and change and recognizing that they had no reflection on me. And that mental toughness I gained from contemplation and the ability to really kind of process what was going on out here. Being out in nature became kind of a refuge for me from my mental health, from my mental toughness. And I used it. I began to build on my physical because that was the place where I was most safe and most secure. And in the process of building up my physical place of strength, I was then able to take pieces of my success and put it where I was showing up weak, where I was diminishing myself, where I was holding back and taking on really the perspective of others and feeling worthless because I was choosing to believe something outside of myself. I was comparing myself, all of the things that I wasn't supposed to do in my mental weakness, I was doing. But out here in nature, seeing all of this allowed me to cut out the noise, allowed me to separate myself from this mental anguish and find joy in my physicality. And I think we all have a space like that. It may not be a physical thing for you. Maybe your physical space is weakness, but maybe you're a good musician. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you are great at math. Maybe you're excellent at academia. Maybe you're a really, really great supporter of friends. Whatever that space is, dive into that. And as you dive into that, it will restore your sense of self. It'll allow you to feel like, I've got this, and it'll give you the path that you need to move forward into the place of weakness that you need to develop. Be compassionate to yourself. Don't worry too badly about your failures because your failures are the master teacher that allow you to overcome. This is what I do to improve my mental toughness, and I hope it helps. I'm James Burnham. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. I got another video coming up.